other things. Peter, can you keep ignoring the mass adoption of cryptocurrencies? We've got big institutions getting on board, countries accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. You've got Bitcoin representing the fastest adoption of any technology recorded in human history. It's growing at 113% a year. Peter, do you feel you missed the boat and regret
first of all,
not investing in cryptocurrency?
Okay, so first of all, as far as ignoring the mass adoption, I don't have to ignore it because it's not happening. There is no mass adoption of Bitcoin for anything. You're talking about countries accepting it. Okay, El Salvador is trying to experiment with it, but that's one little country. You can't say that that's some kind of wave of countries making Bitcoin legal tender. Is Wall Street in it a little bit? Sure, because Wall Street thinks they can make a buck on it. I mean, they don't give a damn. I mean, most of these big investment banks that are allowing their customers to trade, they don't trade it themselves. I mean, they're just trying to make a buck. They're operating the casino, and if people want to gamble, they're like, well, we're going to let them gamble at our casino because they may gamble at someplace else. What I will concede is that there are a lot of people that are gambling on cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin being one, but there's almost 18,000 others if you count all the altcoins, and then you can throw in all the NFTs. But what Bitcoin and other digital assets are used for is gambling. People buy them because they think the price is going to go up. People don't sell them because they think the price is going to go up. So it's all a bunch of trading. It's not being adopted for anything. That's all pie-in-the-sky hype to try to justify the appreciation that all the pumpers are claiming is coming, and that's why people are buying it and holding on to it, or in the case of Hex, they're getting paid to hold it and penalized if they sell it. As far as regrets, do I regret not buying it? Well, look, obviously, I'm not an idiot. I mean, there are a lot of things with the benefit of hindsight. You can look back now that you know everything that happened and say, well, I could have bought this and made all this money. Of course, I could have bought Bitcoin when I first learned about it. I don't even remember where it was. I'm pretty sure it was below 10 bucks. I don't think it was below $1, but who the hell knows? It was so long ago, you know, it's hard for me to remember. But all the problems that I had with Bitcoin when I first noticed it, I think are all valid. I mean, in fact, one of the things I didn't like about it, I said, well, what stops somebody from coming up with another cryptocurrency? And of course, nothing. And that was part of the problem. I didn't see any real scarcity in an asset that had no intrinsic value and anybody could replicate. I also didn't think it was particularly scarce just because there was 21 million of them. 21 million is simply an arbitrary number of Satoshis. There's 100 million Satoshis in each one. And I know people say, well, you know, but you can break a gold down into little tiny grams, and that's true, but they're no good to you. I mean, if you want to make a watch, you need a certain amount of gold. A little speck isn't going to do anything. But as far as Bitcoin, whatever I can do with a Satoshi, I can do with 100 Satoshis or 1,000,000, because I can't do anything with one, so I can't do anything with 1,000,000. So I never bought that there was any real value. What I missed was that you know, this would become like tulip mania, that this would actually catch on and become a massive speculative mania. I did not have the foresight when Bitcoin was, you know, 10 bucks to see this happening. And, you know, but when it did get up to 1,000 and then it pulled back for 200 or 300, I looked at it for a while and I thought, you know, should I buy this crap? You know, it may have a big run. I could see all the hype and all the nonsense that people were saying about it, and a lot of people were actually believing it. But then fundamentally, I still couldn't get it, and I knew that I could never advise other people to buy it. That's what a lot of people do in crypto. It's all pump and dump. You just get in it, and then you pay celebrities to promote it. You give away free coins. Hey, pretend you want your salary in Bitcoin. It's all hype, because the only money that is made in crypto is the money that's lost. Somebody has to lose money for somebody else to make it. It's a zero-sum game. In fact, it's a negative-sum game when you figure out all the other costs, the trading costs, the marketing costs. You know, think about all the money that was spent last year advertising Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. They spent a fortune pumping it up, yet, you know, everybody who bought is way down. I mean, the market's been killed despite record amounts of publicity and advertisement. for Bitcoin. Now, so do I regret not taking advantage of other people's greed and ignorance? Yes, I could have made a lot of money had I bought some Bitcoin and sold it. I have no idea where I would have sold it. Had I bought some years ago, you don't know, would I have still held it? If I bought it at, $10 or $20, would I still own it at, 38,000 or 37,000, wherever it is right now? I have no idea because I didn't do it, right? And there's a lot of other speculative investments that I didn't make. That I could have made a lot of money on. Fortunately, there are a lot of them that I did make. I mean, I've made money in other things, and I've done well on other investments. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin would have been the best investment I ever made had I bought it at $10 and sold it at $69,000 at the high, sure, or even if I sold it today and bought it at $10. But I didn't do that. But what's going to happen to other people, what they're going to regret is not selling, because that's one regret I'm never going to have. But a lot of people are going to watch their paper fortunes completely evaporate. People are going to go from millionaires to nothing, and people are going to have a lot of regrets over the paper profits that they never realized.
Can I talk? Am I in the video when I talk? Do I show when I'm talking?
No, it was my question.
Oh, no, but I never see myself on this feed.
Oh.
I don't know if they're switched.
No,
do you guys never switch to my camera or what?
You are shown, Richard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Can you
So,
bring the mic closer?
It's going to clip more if I bring it closer, bro. I'll try and talk quieter. I'm clipping it by talking too loud. So, first of all, Peter describes a problem that people do have in cryptocurrency, where they sell on a 1x or a 2x or a 3x and think that they're smart, and then it goes up 69 million x. So you could have bought Hex on January 5th of 2019 and sold it when it doubled, 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 when it doubled again, when it doubled, when it doubled, when it doubled, when it doubled, or when it doubled. It doubled 13 times in 2 years. And so you could have hopped off the magic carpet ride at any time that you wanted with insanely mad gains, and you could have been one of those red candles everybody hates so much. And people run into this problem when they reach cryptocurrency, they're not used to seeing millions of percent returns. Hex did 1,000,000% return from the bottom of the top, 623 days, and that's without staking. If you'd staked, you would have made 2x if you'd staked longer. You would have made less if you staked for shorter. He describes a problem where he wouldn't have known whether he would have held or not, and Hex specifically stops him from his own weak hands selling his future gains. And this happens to investors time and time again, where they try and time the market only to discover that what matters more is not timing the market, but time in the market. Time in the market with markets that have product market fit, they're on-ramping new users, they have a durable walled garden. Peter seems to think that you can copy paste a coin and instantly it's valuable. It's not true. When you copy paste a coin, you have a different ticker symbol, which means you have a different order book, which means you have different liquidity, which means you have different exchanges that it's traded on. The things that affect the price are wildly different. Now look, whether you like Hex or not, fine. I'm also solving a lot of other problems. I don't like how electricity is destroying the environment. I used to mine Bitcoin. I used a lot of electricity to do it. It wasn't renewable energy. I think Bitcoin destroys the environment. I think gold destroys the environment. I think Ethereum destroys the environment, and I've already solved that. PulseChain.com gets rid of all the proof of work destroying the environment to maintain a consensus network and just uses proof of stake. The same way that Hex doesn't require you to destroy the environment to earn inflation rewards. It just requires you to delay gratification to earn inflation rewards. So we have less negative externalities, which is why we have a superior price chart. This is gold versus Bitcoin. Gold goes up a little bit, Bitcoin goes up a lot. This is Hex. It just basically looks like a giant up and to the right. You got to click log for it to make sense, or it just compresses everything into a flat line here, which is useless to reason about. A flat line isn't helpful in a chart. Now look at from launch. He wished that he had got in early on Bitcoin and Ethereum because he would have made hundreds of thousands of percent returns. This is Hex versus Bitcoin and Ethereum from their launch. This is the hardest possible time to try and compete with those currencies. This is when they had the maximum appreciation, the maximum up and to the right. We're beating both of them today after a 66% or 70% dip. When you zoom in, it looks like this. This is on a log scale. These are really big numbers. And so, we're up versus Bitcoin at the top, 500x. That's 532,000% versus Bitcoin at the top. Now we've dipped. We're only up 15 150x now, 1500x. That's why I bring charts, right? We did the same thing versus Ethereum, but Ethereum pumped harder than Bitcoin, 3 times harder. So our gains versus Ethereum are about 3 times less. I have to hide my eyes from the camera. And then this is us versus the dollar. About 1,000,000% versus the dollar. Now he's going to tell you these numbers aren't real. But guess what? They are real. When you create those red candles that everybody hates, that's you cashing out. And then you could go buy whatever Peter does like. He likes stocks that you don't own the shares to. By the way, as far as the utility and stocks go, you realize that if you get a 40% share of your local Burger King, you can't change the prices. You can't change the hours of operation. You can't add an item to the menu. And you can't pull cash out of the register. And so this concept that somehow owning shares in a company is somewhere more wholesome or better than owning part of a cryptocurrency, which may give you rights to control the consensus of the network, which may issue you trustless dividends with no middlemen whatsoever. And so I created something that solves a lot of problems that Peter hates. Peter likes self-custody. I solved it. Peter likes yield. I solved it. Peter likes delayed gratification. I solved it. But he just doesn't realize I've solved the things that he cares about. So I'm making people literal millionaires. And he says other things which aren't the case, such as some people have to lose in order for other people to win. It's not true. It's 100% not true. When your house goes up in value, who loses? When your gold goes up in value, who loses? When a baby is born or a tree grows, who loses? They're created out of thin air. Trees are created out of thin air.
All right.